It felt like Christmas in April. There are so many people excited about these stores coming to town, was how Dave Smith, a local real estate broker, described the thrill that blanketed the city. It is like they are almost willing them out of the ground. For years, Arizona residents regularly drove across state lines in order to eat one of In-N-Out's vaunted double-double burgers. When In-N-Out opened its first Arizona store in the city of Scottsdale in 2000, Tucsonans got in their cars and made the 90-mile journey. While Scottsdale might not be considered convenient, it was certainly closer to Tucson than the Lake Havasu City location that opened the same year, which at a distance of 321 miles from Tucson was an unreasonable distance for a burger run, although not an entirely uncommon one. In fact, until In-N-Out first arrived in Arizona, many residents flew round-trip between Phoenix and the Ontario International Airport in California expressly for a $2.75 hamburger. The Tucson debut was handled not unlike a presidential visit or a movie premiere. Prior to the official opening, local dignitaries and members of the city council joined In-N-Out executives at an invitation-only pre-opening party that also served as a final run-through for the associates. Tucson's media covered the official opening. The Arizona Daily Star sent a team of 6 journalists on an assignment that they dubbed Operation In-N-Out. Ravenous customers began arriving in the dark of night, long before the store's 10:30 a.m. opening. Actually, people began lining up at 2 a.m. the day before, some sleeping in their cars overnight. By 6 a.m. on the morning of the opening, about a dozen folks were pressed against the front doors. By noon, the crowd had grown appreciably, hundreds of people having descended upon the fast food restaurant and its signature crossed palm trees. Marveling at the thick, snaking procession of people, Phil Villarreal, a reporter for the Arizona Daily Star, recalled Soviet-era bread lines in Moscow. As the day wore on, the walk-in line continued to expand like an unencumbered waistband. By midday, it had grown so dense, at times 100 customers strong and 6 and 7 people deep, that the entire line had taken over a neighboring parking lot, and yellow plastic police tape was used to rope off the crowd in as orderly a fashion as possible. As the mercury rose, bright-eyed and smiling In-N-Out associates passed out cups of water and pink lemonade to help relieve both the tedium and the heat for the customers waiting in line. After inspecting what could only be described as a stampede, In-N-Out's Vice President of Planning and Development, Carl Van Fleet, assessed the scene with the chain's typical understatement, telling the Daily Star, "This is not something that happened overnight. I think it just sort of grew with us." As night fell, the crowd showed little sign of thinning out. At nearly 10 p.m., there were still over 100 cars in the drive-through lane. The company temporarily opened a mobile kitchen on site to help with the constant demand. In-N-Out had already sent in a team of about 40 veteran employees, called the In-N-Out All-Stars, from existing locations to help the 24 new associates work the opening. Like a mobile commando unit, the All-Stars are highly skilled and experienced In-N-Out veterans, trained to be able to handle any situation under pressure. Dispatched to every new store opening since about 1988, their job was and is to guarantee a smooth debut. But even with its own precision planning, military execution, and its all-stars on hand, In-N-Out Burger could have had no idea of the kind of frenzy that the Tucson opening would create. Drivers sat in their cars for hours, waiting to place their orders. The drive-through lines stacked up for blocks, ran out onto the street, and overflowed into the Elcon Mall's parking lot, snarling up traffic. A nimble associate wearing a menu affixed to a chain went from car to car taking orders and sending them back to the kitchen via PDA in an attempt to help speed things up. Others abandoned the pileup of cars altogether and made the pilgrimage by foot. A swell of people had already formed inside the restaurant. The overflow spilled outside, long past the glass entry doors into controlled chaos. A respectful rush of customers inched their way toward the gleaming stainless steel counter where a group of smiling workers in their crisp white uniforms, red aprons affixed with large silver kilt pins, and paper cadet hats awaited them. Remarkably, despite the constant crush of customers, the associates maintained their smiles throughout the grueling day. Under a yellow neon sign that spelled out in cursive letters the company's motto, "Quality you can taste," those at the front of the line ordered from In-N-Out's famously limited menu of 3 burger items, French fries, soft drinks, lemonade, and milkshakes, a menu that has barely changed since Harry Truman was president. There were no Mediterranean wraps, Caesar chicken salad.